Hi, this one's going to be a bit more maintenance and boring painting, but it's sorting out the pannier racks for my Givi luggage. I've had this bike for about 3 years now, and of course I got it second hand. As part of that, when it came with the pannier racks, they were a bit mucky to begin with. I think someone else had taken them off and repainted at some point in some rust proofing, but they've definitely started to tarnish. And as I say, they definitely started to tarnish. Now, what I need to do is get them off. And to do that, there's this quick release setup. Now, I didn't actually know this until I did some research, but there is a special key which allows you to quick release your panniers. There's one there, a lock there, and a lock that joins the two together. And it uses this special key that hops in a particular format, which you can push and twist locks out. And that will then allow you to disconnect the panniers. So I did the other side so you can just kind of see what's going on. And then on this side you can see, just twist the lock. I've already done these bottom two, and then that comes out. And you'll see here, it's just a nice simple twist lock, and that locks into the other side. What you'll also see is just how tarnished and kind of old, bit of rust, bit of filth. So what I'm going to do is especially behind the wheel, where it meets behind the wheel here, I'm going to rub all this down and give it a go of paint. What you can also see is where it mounts here to the frame mounts from the quick release, and here that's also started to tarnish. So what I'm going to do is just give that a quick little rub down and a spray with the old paint just to give that reinforcement. And you can see here very much where it's starting to flake and there's rust bubbles underneath. So I think a good rub down and paint, and that'll come back up. All right, we'll try it again, as I say, with the mop here. Just want to kind of touch underneath there, just that point. Sandpaper I have, I think, is too fine. It'll work. It'll just take a while, and I just really want to take the worst of it off. Give it a touch up. This is more about making things not get any worse than making them too pretty. So let's see how we get on. Okay, that's actually the worst of all the rust flake points off on each side. So what I'll do now is I just kind of give that a bit of an overspray, tape off a few areas, and we'll come back. Okay, bit of mask it off, and we'll see how we get on. There we go. That's not terrible. So we're not looking for perfect here, we're looking for good enough. Right, let's do some dodgy close-ups so you can see how bad it actually is. That's the top bracket, that's the bottom bracket. So I'm not concerned about where the paint lines are. I'm more concerned about making sure everything's nicely covered. And then on this side here, that one's covered, and the bottom bracket one there. So they're nicely covered with a coat. That'll do for now. Now it's time for me to rub down and actually do the pannier racks themselves. Again, what I'm looking for here is just to take the worst of everything off. I know I should be able to strip this down to get it right back to the bare metal. This is just more of a maintenance to make things look a little bit better and take the worst of everything off. So, a bit of a lazy way, but for me, I'm happy with that for the time being. And at some point I might come back and do it properly. But this is my commuter bike, so yeah, just maintaining things. You can see how it's coming off quite nice and easily, but there's still bits where the rust is coming through. So I'll just be sat here doing this for a little while, and I'll drop you back in afterwards. Now you can see here they're not perfect. All I've done is I've taken all the worst and the rusty bits off of everything. Mainly this back section here, where it actually, this is where it mounts behind the rear wheel, and so it gets a lot of crap flicked up there, so that took a lot to get off. So the rest of this isn't too bad. It's just basically mounting points, I think, and where dust gets flicked or dirt gets flicked up in salts. Because I have ridden this bike year round, you see this side's the worst. So I'm going to come up there with a wire brush, and then I think basically just going to be throwing paint at it. You see, not terrible. I should be able to drop you in after I've painted. We'll see what that looks like. This is what it's looking like now the paint's had a bit of time to dry in the sun. Around this side here. So I'm not looking for perfection. What I'm looking for is cleaner than it was, which is what we're shooting for here. So you can see just up here and just down there is where it was bad on this side, and that's not looking terrible. And then here and also here. So again, you can see where the lines have joined, or where I've rubbed myself back, but it's looking much better than it was. Right, so I'll drop you back here once I've painted the actual frames. Alright, this is how we're looking after the first side. So it always looks quite decent when it's relatively fresh, but we shall see how we get on. I'm probably going to put quite a few coats of this on. It's a Hammerite Shield paint, so it's used for undersills and under trays and cars, so it should be quite hard wearing and so decent for the pannier rack. So I'll wait till this side dries out a bit more, put a couple more coats on, and I'll drop you in at the end. So you can see here now that this has all been painted and dried off. It doesn't match perfectly, but as I say, this is all about just kind of taking the worst of the rust off. And I've done the same on the actual pannier mounts. They're all nicely painted up. And I've got the same across here on this side. So now all we have to do is fit them. Now they go in a particular manner, all using this quick release key. I got this quick release key off of Amazon because I couldn't find it available from Givi themselves. I'll put a link in the description, because if you've got yours secondhand like I bought mine, you wouldn't also get one of these. And so what I'll do now is I'll just record myself quickly putting this all together. It is a very simple and quick process in theory. Got everything loosely connected, so now it's just a case of using the key and doing a quarter turn on all the way around, and then it just all locks into place. With the weakest hands known to man. And back. And the final one. Right, that is all now secured and back up. Everything can be folded away, and I'm good to remount my luggage next time I need to use it. As I say, this wasn't all about making it pretty. This was just about taking the worst of the rust off that's appeared over the years that I've had it. I don't know when these were fitted before I bought the bike, but it's been some time. And I found out that they come off with quick release, so I can just give them a quick touch up, again using the key. What I need to do at some point in the future is take the whole thing off, get it stripped down, get it powder coated, and then put it back on the bike. But to do that, this whole section here comes off, and the pannier racks, and the top mount, and the top box mount, sorry. This arm mounting here, handles here for the pillion, the foot pegs for the pillion, they all come off. And if I'm doing all of that, it's going to take a little while, so that's going to be a couple of years down the line. I'll spend some winter and just take all that off, get it powder coated and put together. But for now, we'll see how the armor shield holds up. But it's definitely an improvement, and it's made the bike less rusty, which is going to make it last a bit longer, hopefully. All right, thanks very much. See you next time.